If you're driving a vehicle with halogen headlights, you know the struggle. Dim, yellowish light, poor visibility at night, and in bad weather. It's a safety hazard, and frankly, it's not acceptable in this day and age. For years, we've been putting up with the subpar performance of incandescent bulbs, but not anymore. Today, we're taking the Sienna from dim to dazzling with a complete headlight and bulb upgrade from LasFit LED. Join me as we explore the benefits of LED technology, walk through the installation process, and experience the dramatic difference firsthand. So you might be wondering, why LEDs? Well, let's dive into the technology. LEDs, or light emitting diodes, produce light in a completely different way than those old halogens. They're incredibly energy efficient, lasting far longer, producing a whiter, brighter light that's closer to daylight. This means better visibility in all conditions, especially when driving at night or in bad weather. Think of it like this: halogens are like candles in the wind, where LEDs are like spotlights. For this upgrade, I'm going with a complete LED kit from LasFit, specifically designed for my 2015 Toyota Sienna. This kit includes everything I need to replace all of my exterior lights, not just the headlights. LasFit has a great reputation for quality and performance, and these bulbs are designed to be a perfect fit with no errors or modifications needed. Plus, they offer a solid warranty, so I have peace of mind. Before we get started with the installation, let's gather our tools just to be sure we're prepared. Before we install the LEDs, I want to show you just how bad the halogen light bulbs perform in these conditions. With just the dims on, I can only see about 100 feet in front of me, and once I activate the bright lights, I can see quite a bit further. However, it doesn't have the same characteristics of those other LED vehicles that I've driven in the past. The halogen bulbs in general are just much dimmer than the LED bulbs. Going around corners or any of the other odd angles that I encounter while I'm driving are much more difficult to see with halogen bulbs. Now that you know exactly how bad these OEM bulbs are, let's get the LED bulbs installed and see if they're worth the hype. The main tools that I'm going to use for this job are these two panel removers. I'm going to use these just to make sure I don't rip or break any of the panel clips. It's about 10 degrees Fahrenheit, and that will make the snaps on the panels extra brittle. This screwdriver can help with removing the interior light covers. The last thing we will likely need is the 10mm socket and ratchet. I do have that in the van, so I haven't pulled it out yet. I'm going to start with this bright light, which you guys have seen already. Both the headlight and the high beams have fans built in to help with some of that heat management. Removing the original bright light is as simple as rotating and removing the headlight. And actually, I'm just now noticing for my headlights, I'm gonna need that little flat tip to push that clip out. So all that prep and hype, and it turns out that my high beams are actually 9005 headlights, and the kit I got came with the H11 or 8911 headlights. That's the main difference between the 10 through 14 and the 15 through 20 third generation Siennas. However, the rest of the bulbs should work out fine for my needs. Now I'm going to try the regular headlights. This is the one that should be equivalent to the one that I have now. Now I'm just going to use my flat tip, pop that right out. If all is good, I should be able to just snap this together. The patterns on the tabs on the headlights are aligned so that essentially this cable on this LED light will go straight down. While I'm on this side, I'm going to go ahead and try this turn signal as well. So the front turn signal is actually a 3157D, and that is a perfect fit. This cover here, and oh yeah, huge difference in that lighting. I managed to get every light installed, including the interior lights, except for the front high beams. I think my Sienna, even though it's a 2015 model, has the sockets from the 2014 models. Make sure if you have a 14 or a 15 that you double check the bulbs required for your front high beams. Now it's time to dive into the details about how much power we truly saved by upgrading from halogens to LEDs. I didn't change the high beams yet, but the OEM high beams pull 60 watts and the LEDs are rated to pull only 30 watts. So that's a 60 watt saving between the two LED high beams. Now your dim bulbs are your workhorses of this vehicle. The OEM dim bulbs on my Sienna pulled 55 watts. These ones are rated to pull 25 watts. So that's a 60 watt savings between the two. The turn signals and running lights go from 21 watts down to 8 watts. And I don't have fog lights, but the fog lights would have went from 35 down to 15. Moving here to the back, both the turn signals and the stop lights are from 21 watts down to 8 watts. This tail light went down from 15 to 5, and the license plate lights went from 8 watts down to 1.5 watts. What an amazing amount of savings. Combining all of those energy savings can add up to about 240 watts with those high beams. However, without the high beams, I'm running at about 180 to 190 watts less than the OEM halogen bulbs. I frequently use my minivan's alternator to top off the batteries here in my camper, so saving anything is a huge benefit, but saving almost 200 watts is a win-win-win. Now we've only got one question left to answer, and that is, was it worth the hype? How do they perform in the dark? The lights are absolutely bright. I can see about twice, maybe 3 times as far, but the most important thing I think is that what I can see is a much clearer, brighter white light. It makes it much easier to distinguish things like the road signs, the stripes in the roads. I really wish that I had the high beams to test as well, but I have to wait and see when those come. And that's just the headlights. The interior lights are insanely bright. And in fact, I feel like they might be just a little too bright for my comfort because I'm used to having not a whole lot of light in my vehicle, and with these bright lights, anybody on the outside can see in much easier. All I can say is just wow overall. The things that impress me the most are actually the brightness of the turn signals and the running lights that are attached to the turn signals. They're so bright that I can actually see pretty decently on the left or the right side of the vehicle. My only regret with this upgrade is that I didn't do it sooner. It's honestly amazing to me how such a simple upgrade can make such a huge difference. For me, the LED lights have absolutely transformed the driving experience of the vehicle. It's really brought this minivan into 2025. And I know I mentioned how bright those interior lights are, but it honestly feels like I'm in a laboratory or like an office building. It is simply that bright, and I'm only using about 1/5 of the original energy of the halogen bulbs. I don't know, guys, let me know in the comments. Was a complete upgrade of all of my lights to LEDs worth the hype? For me, it is absolutely worth the hype. It's safer, these lights are way brighter, allowing me to see much further into the night. And on top of that, I've reduced the load on my alternator, which is already taxed with my battery chargers in the back. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in my next adventure.